So the Breaking Points focus group of New Hampshire Republicans asked a really, really good question here. They basically want to know, hey man, would you vote for Trump if he's behind bars? Which is honestly probably a question on the top of a lot of people's mind throughout the country. It's definitely on my mind. And let's take a look at the results and we'll react to it.
What do you think of these charges that are happening? How do we feel about those?
It's nothing but a lynching by the Democrats. They're so fearful of him that they're going after him left and right. And this has been going on, 7, 8 years? So it's definitely just a lynching, and they're just afraid of him. That's why they're doing it. Otherwise, they'd leave him alone.
I can't. I've said this before, guys. There are 91 criminal charges against him. 91. Is this guy's contention that all 91 are totally fabricated? I mean, I think if he was sitting in front of me right now, he'd just be like, yes, they're all fabricated. And I'm going to issue this challenge yet again. I've said it a number of times, but anybody who's right-leaning out there, or conservative, Republican, whatever, who wants to really get into the details and the weeds, I would love to know. Let's go through every single charge and tell me why you think every single one is bogus. Because I've seen a tremendous amount of evidence on the side of guilty. I would respect somebody on the right who's like, look, I went through all the charges with a fine-tooth comb, and I think most of them are BS, and I can explain why, but I found 9 of them that I think he's guilty of. I'd be like, hey, look, nuance, detail, specifics, I like it. None of them do that. Just like, it's a lynching. Or he's a criminal. Or that. I mean, some of the cases are so open and shut, it's laughable. The top secret and classified documents case, I don't know how much more evidence you need. First of all, 78 people are flipping on him. Second of all, we know he has the documents. He's on tape saying, I'm not really allowed to show you these anymore. I could have declassified them when I was president. I can't now, but you want to see him? You have him on tape saying those things. Then, of course, when he was told to turn the stuff over, he lied and had it moved from one place to another and then deleted the security footage of it because it would implicate him. Like, some of these things are so open and shut. So the way that a guy like this thinks, I think you can only think like this if you are lied to relentlessly by the media. Like, I want to blame him, but I also understand he's been getting a steady diet of fake news. And that's why he thinks the way he thinks. If he knew all of the details around all of the crimes, I don't think there's any way you could think all 91 are bogus. I don't think there's any way. But this goes to show you, this is a regular dude, man. This guy's a regular dude. And he's living in a fantasy land. And it's astonishing, the disconnect we have in our country today.
As the charges go, I mean, I don't have a huge stock in the government conspiracies being like, oh, this is all against me. It's a witch hunt. I'm like, no, it isn't. You broke the law. You're being indicted. It's surprising to me that he's even a candidate. I'm all for having a Republican candidate to like stop all this nonsense spending. But him is just, if you go to jail, just like everybody else, it makes it very clear that you are not above the law.
Allow me to just say thank you to this woman. Like I told you guys at the beginning of this, it's amazing the disconnect between the Trump Republicans and the non-Trump Republicans. Now, I have almost complete disagreement, even with the non-Trump Republicans on policy stuff, but at least I feel like they're living in the same reality. At least I feel like they're connected to the real world. And so this woman's like, yeah, I mean, look, there's probably some crimes there, and they're going after him for it, and, justice is supposed to be blind, and would I like small government? Yeah. Would I want to cut the spending? Yeah, but that's what I want. I don't want to be married to a criminal at the hip. God bless this woman, man. Holy cow.
I think some of it is a witch hunt for sure. And I think some of it are legitimate claims, like him telling, the governor of Georgia or the secretary of state of Georgia that he needs to find votes. I mean, the president calling someone like that is obviously trying to intimidate and influence the election. And that's something we should all stand up for and say that's wrong.
This guy's the DeSantis guy. Listen to how much more reasonable he sounds than the Trump people. It's amazing. It's amazing. He's like, yeah, I know they all say it's a witch hunt, but I heard the tape where he's saying, find me 11,000 votes. And that seems wrong to me. Yeah, yeah, it is. You know what else is wrong? A colossal, fraudulent, fake elector scheme. It's an attempt to defraud the United States of America and overturn the election and keep him in power. That's as wrong as it gets. That's a coup, that's an attempted coup.
I wish the charges weren't there because it makes folks like our friends here in the back row really solidify behind him, and he's been able to turn it into that sort of, if I think someone back there said, if they can come after me, they can come after you. Well, you're not intimidating secretaries of state, so you're probably not in trouble. But I think it's bad because I think it helps the Trump supporters circle around Trump and make it look like he's a victim.
Okay, see, now that I don't necessarily agree with, because if he committed all these crimes, there needs to be justice. So as a matter of principle, you go after him. That's point number one. Point number two is, I agree that there's this sort of circling of the wagons among his hardcore base, but literally everybody else is abandoning him. So, yeah, he goes up in the Republican primary, but he goes down in the general. Right now, the polls are roughly tied between him and Biden. Truth be told, I don't think that'll last. I mean, even Joe Biden's carcass against Donald Trump in the instance that, he's found guilty of some of these 91 crimes, it ain't going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Like, there's a line that's been crossed a long time ago, and I think that'll be reflected by the public that, no, this is kind of beyond the pale. And so, look, that's just my speculation at this point, but I don't buy the argument that, it actually makes him stronger that he's about to be in jail. No, it really doesn't.
In one word, stupid. I just think it's stupid. I think they're wasting a ton of time, and yeah, they want the money, and so.
It's stupid, and they want the money. What are you talking about? Who wants what money? What are you talking about? That makes no sense. They're charging him because they want the money? What money? There's no money involved in this at all. This is just like the wires crossing in the brain, right? Where it's like, I think the Democrats are corrupt. Corruption involves money. So they're going after Trump. It's stupid. It's really stupid because they want the money or whatever. There's nothing to do with money. It shows you how these people think in bumper stickers and slogans and memes, right? Oh God.
To the Banana Republic of America. This is what other countries do.
Maybe the Banana Republic is the guy trying to overthrow the election and stay in power when he lost by 7 million votes. Maybe that's the Banana Republic thing. Look at the way they think. If Trump does it, it is by definition good and okay. If the Democrats are reacting to Trump doing something bad, you guys are the Banana Republic people. It's unbelievable.
I mean, yeah, if there are things that are done wrong, I think some of these things that were done wrong, they wouldn't make any issue out of it if it wasn't a Republican or Trump.
Then why is Hunter Biden being brought up on charges? I'd love to know. If it wasn't Trump, they'd get away with it. Well, why is Hunter Biden being brought up on charges for his whatever gun charge, looking into corruption stuff, tax stuff? Why is he being charged? Oh, that's right. Because you're wrong that, oh my God, it's only Republicans who are persecuted. I'm a victim. These people love playing the victim role.
By, I think, actually on a more global level to have a candidate who could fix America taken out so we can be kept under somebody's thumb.
Who's doing that?
Probably Bill Gates. I don't know.
This lady is saying Bill Gates and the globalists are orchestrating the criminal charges against Trump because Trump wants to make America great again. And Bill Gates and the globalists would like to destroy America. If that is not anti-establishment brainworms, I don't know what is. I have a million criticisms of Bill Gates. For one, he's a patent shark, and he made it so that poor developing countries couldn't get access to the vaccines because he cares more about profit than lives. That's something you go after him for. But these people aren't talking about real conspiracies. This is utterly made up. Bill Gates has nothing to do with the Trump charges. Globalists have nothing to do with the Trump charges. Trump is being charged because he committed 91 crimes. That's Occam's razor, and that's the truth. And they can't deal with it. Oh my God.
If he ends up in jail, would you still vote for him in the general election?
I would vote for him because other politicians have done their political duties from jail.
We're 2 for 2 that if Trump's in jail, these guys would still vote for Trump. I can't.
Right? You have to. It just, everyone here.
You have to. You have to. What are you going to do? Guy goes to jail? Of course. You pull the lever for him. That's how it works.
Read that something's going on crooked with what they're doing to him. So how can you believe anything that's going on in the courts or these affidavits or anything else they're going after him for?
I would vote for him, and I would hope that the truth would eventually come out.
The truth is that he's a criminal. And when we know that, you're still not going to accept it because you're a hack. Sorry. Look, we're 4 for 4. Who would vote for him if he's in prison right now? This is astonishing.
So thinking ahead to that general election, let's assume it's Trump versus Biden, and Trump is fighting that election from jail. Would anyone here be put off voting for Trump for that reason?
I would vote for anybody who wasn't Biden, whether I liked them or not.
Think that it would be odd to vote for somebody that's in jail, somebody who's supposed to be running our country. The commander-in-chief from jail. It doesn't make sense to me.
Thank God we got at least one of them that is a less insane.
For Trump in that election if he was in jail.
What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of 8. So half. Half of them are saying they would vote for Trump if he was in jail.
Dana, you're a no. How come?
How can you govern from jail? I think even if it was not a fair process. I just don't see how you can govern effectively when you're taken out of communication that way.
It's always amazing when there's like moments of common sense that shine through. And she's just like, how could you run the country from jail? I don't know, bro. It seems kind of crazy. Yes, indeed it is, Margaret, or whatever your name is.
Significant, right? We've got 4 registered Republicans or independents who might lean Republican in this room, and half of you are saying wouldn't vote for Donald Trump if he was the nominee in a general election.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you say. You could say, "What if he's dead?" and they'd still vote for him. I mean,
Oh, shots fired! Shots fired from the DeSantis homie.
there is no line, right? There is no line.
Anyone want to come back on that?
How about if Biden's the nominee and he's in a hospital, a mental hospital, still going to vote for him then?
Didn't really address my question.
Oh, this is what happens when a Newsmax guy gets a little bit of pushback. He just crumbles. First of all, dude, the guy who you're talking to, let me make this clear, is a DeSantis supporter. You gonna vote for Biden if he's in a mental hospital? He's not a Biden voter. He's a Republican. He's a conservative. He's a DeSantis guy. But he's so used to this like stupid culture war, partisan hack nonsense of like, there's the Biden people and there's the Trump people. They just typecast this dude as a Biden supporter. He's like, oh, I guess you vote for Biden from the mental hospital then. Ooh, I guess you're as crazy as I am. And he's like, first of all, no, I wouldn't. Second of all, what are you talking about? That doesn't answer my question at all. Basically, look, what I take away from that is, and you can see from this guy's face, he's like, yeah, okay, you got me. There is no bottom. There is no bottom. You know when Trump very famously said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and wouldn't lose any voters? Tell me that those people wouldn't immediately be like, that person was part of the Illuminati and part of the Bilderberg group, and he was a child sex trafficker, and Trump knew it, and Trump took him out to save the rest of us. God save our children like Trump has done. We love you, oh beloved God, overlord, emperor, king. Like, that's what would happen. We all know that. So, guys, look. And it's funny, too, because this was not always my perception of it, right? That it's like you have the MAGA Republicans, and then the non-MAGA Republicans. And it's like, oh, the non-MAGA Republicans are more sane than the MAGA Republicans. That was not my conception of it, because when I think of, like, non-MAGA Republicans, what do I think of? Mitt Romney, John McCain, George W. Bush, and Dick Cheney. These people are scumbags, they're corrupt. In some instances, they're war criminals and torturers. So, like, no love for those people at all. But it turns out, among the actual population, so like the voters, when you look at the MAGA versus the non-MAGA Republic, it is true. Regardless of my substantive disagreements on policy with the non-MAGA Republicans, they are clearly, objectively, way closer to reality. They're not totally off in a fantasy land where they're just absolutely chugging fake news down on a daily basis and are just going through this life deranged, like they're literally in a cult. And by the way, there's plenty of evidence to suggest this is a cult at this late date. It is. 2015, 2016, some people are pro-Trump or Trump curious. You could see an argument for it. You had to overlook a lot of xenophobia and bigotry, but at the same time, he was saying some economically populist stuff. 2020, totally different story. I got a cat behind me now. Say hi, Salem. But 2024, everybody who's left, man, I can't. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. 71% of these people say, I believe Trump over my mom, over my dad, over my brother, over my sister, over my daughter, over my son, over my grandson, over my granddaughter, over religious leaders, over scientists, over anybody and everybody. That's a cult. That's a cult. And what you're seeing here is a cult. And apparently it's about half of the Republican base in New Hampshire. It'll be interesting to see what happens going forwards. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.